Okay, so I've got one for you, and this is by this woman, Sydney, and she made a video about Malcolm in the Middle, and let's get through it.
4 and 1 non-binary.
Why does everything I like turn out this way? Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And before you all board the hell gondola once again, this video is exclusively sponsored by my company, Lions Tea Exchange. As
She makes coffee, buy her coffee if you like. Is it coffee?
we go into hot weather, basically all of my blends are pretty good as iced.
It's tea, if you like tea. Let's get on with it.
Or I really do think that my shipper boxes are pretty as is, and they will do just fine as a gift box. Outside of that, I know my blends are very delicious, and so if you haven't already, absolutely check them out. I'm sure that there's something on the website for you. Link in the description. Ways reminds me so much of my own mum, and so I feel like I'm watching my family interact when I watch the show.
I remember watching this as a kid, and I thought it was like really good, really fun. The show itself was like a, it had like cartoon logic to it. That's why it was really entertaining. It wasn't just children that watched the show; it was also adults. So it sort of like had like a big appeal to it.
Good times. My mom is totally gonna watch this video. Mom, I love you. You were a great
See, when her mum liked it, I guess.
parent. Please don't call me and chastise me for saying this. So for those who don't know, just the quick cliff notes of this situation, Malcolm in the Middle, the 2000 sitcom, basically got a revival. So a 4-episode reboot.
When I heard about this, I thought, wow, this is going to be amazing and fun, and it's going to be like, it's not going to be like all those other rubbish reboots that we have, but you know, it's a disappointment. It is a disappointment.
I guess that was announced back in 2024, and this whole thing was released a couple days ago on April 10, 2026.
There's like 4 episodes, and it is totally different to the original. Like totally different, dude. I was waiting for this show for so long, and damn, it just. Let's carry on.
If you can see this poster on screen, it says Disney, so I bet you guys know.
Yeah. Disney generally means that let's play it safe. That's what Disney generally means. Not only that, Disney also means let's ruin it. That's what Disney actually means. You liked it? Did you like it? Yeah, let's ruin it.
Exactly how this turned out. Malcolm in the Middle, the original show again, for those who don't know, was a sitcom that ran for about 6 years in the early 2000s, and it followed an incredibly dysfunctional family with 4 very naughty boys. Francis, the oldest, who goes to military school, Reese, the second oldest, who's a troublemaker, Malcolm, the middle child and our narrator, and the youngest, Dewey. There is also a son who is born in later seasons, and his name is Jamie. I actually wrote a short article about this for the Daily Wire, so to quote myself, Hal and Lois, the show's chaotic married couple, were not enlightened parents dispensing wisdom to their well-behaved children. They were exhausted, flawed people barely clinging on in a house of 4 feral boys. I think that is a pretty good summary, if I do say so myself. I won't lie, it's sort of hard to summarize a 7-season show for anybody who's not watched it and might need all the details.
Most of the characters I found in the show were really entertaining. I never liked Francis. I don't know if it's the actor that I didn't like, or if the way he was acting I didn't like. I just don't see. The thing about Francis I didn't like was that all the characters around him I felt were like better actors than him. or more they just seemed more Francis, for some reason, I don't know what it was about him. for me, he sort of like ruined the show. Like when it went on to him, I used to just find it dull for some reason, but like the characters around him were more interesting than Francis.
But I think all that really matters for the purposes of this video that you're watching right now is knowing that Malcolm in the Middle didn't take itself too seriously. It was the epitome of 2000 sitcom humor. It made fun of basically everything and everyone, but not in a way that felt mean-spirited, and I think that's important. It mocked political correctness, it questioned both politeness and authority, and importantly, it bucked the idea that anyone, kid, adult, or otherwise, deserved kid glove treatment. So it's also worth saying that while dysfunctional, and the dysfunctionality is sort of what led to all of these funny situations that we got to watch, Malcolm's family was at the end of the day pretty tight for the most part. They defended each other, they backed each other, so it was, you know, it was a really nice balance there. So now that all of you are up to speed on what Malcolm in the Middle is, let's talk about what it isn't. This. It isn't this.
I was like 5 when I started.
Oh, dude, this is just watching this is depressing. Like, and I sort of agree with like Sydney like a little bit. Dude, watching these 4 episodes is like, they're so lame. They are so lame. And it's because of all this rubbish.
Feeling wrong? Thought I was great at hiding it because you guys never said anything. But then I had this one really shitty day in the 5th grade with the other kids and even my teacher. When I had little kid.
Dude, that music. Oh, look, the piano. Look, she's crying. Oh, it's so lame. Oh, look at the show. It's so open. No, it's not entertaining. Malcolm in the Middle was a show that I watched to be entertained and have a laugh, and it wasn't like a serious show. What's all this junk that they're bringing in?
Problems, I'd just go to Dad and he'd clown around and make me feel better.
So
what's this girl expect? Is this ain't no Oscar moment? What's this Oscar rubbish?
apparently, the revival went ahead and made the 6th and youngest sibling here a non-binary they-them. To add some icing to this stupid cake, the actress who's playing this they-them is also non-binary in real life.
Oh no, what a shocker. Disney's such a weird company because I'm pretty sure they fired Ellen, evil Ellen, for being gay, but now all of a sudden they changed their tune. They see, the thing about Disney is they're cowards. They like follow the agenda. So I guess when they fired Ellen, I guess it was frowned upon, but now that it's cool, I guess follow the leader.
And also goes by they-them pronouns. They thought this had died. This feels very silly in 2026.
You have brothers.
Okay. I didn't. Not Malcolm for me was like the neutral character. I didn't like him or dislike him, but he was like the show says, he was always in the middle for me. I never would pick him as my favorite, but I didn't dislike him, if you know what I mean. So out of all the actors, for me, Malcolm is like the only one that I feel is still acting like the same in terms of like how I think his personality would be. Whereas everyone else, I don't know, they just seem out of sync for me anyway.
4 and 1 non-binary.
And somehow, magically, this isn't even the worst part. The show also made Malcolm's best friend in the original series, a child named Stevie, who's now an adult. Well, anyway, they made him a gay man in a relationship with another man who doesn't actually seem to like him very much. I know a lot of people generally have rainbow LGBT fatigue, but the reason why this specifically confused a lot of people and had a bunch of people raising an eyebrow is because Stevie in the original show is totally girl obsessed. See Exhibit A.
Where'd you get the boat?
So this is why this upset me, because this is the episode that I saw recently, and after seeing this episode and then watching the new ones, it sort of was like, he's actually into girls, but now he's like gone to the other side totally, and I found that like see, if you want to do that, fair enough, but like it just wasn't entertaining. It didn't feel like yeah, the guy who plays Stevie, he acted like himself, but it wasn't, it was off. It was just off that they turned him gay just like that. And I actually liked Stevie's character. Like I think he pulled it off in the new one. Like fair, you know, quite like after Malcolm, I think Stevie probably still acts like himself, but like they're turning him gay. It just, I don't think it was like the right move. But I think that again, Disney, you know, it's that evil machine.
We stole it from our spirit camp.
Spirit camp? So you girls are cheerleaders.
Bad cheerleaders.
Yeah, we haven't seen any boys in like 6 weeks. Even you guys are starting to look good.
Wait, where you guys going?
Follow us and find out.
Get the boat!
And
See
to
what
those
I
of you
mean?
who are arguing that
See what I mean? Stevie's the one who's eager to go, but now dude, they ruined the dude, they ruined the character of Stevie, and I actually really liked Stevie, and his dad was fun as well.
that this is bisexuality. All I'm gonna say is that somebody who has this level of interest in boobs does not have this level of interest in. By the final episode of the revival, we are also introduced to more of Malcolm's childhood friends, another 3 boys who are awkward geniuses in the original, who apparently, in the revival, are in some sort of asexual throuple. I don't really actually know what's going on here, but I do know that they use their.
Dude, you know what? In the original, these 3 nerds, like, they were like really entertaining. But everything feels forced in this new one. It just feels so like fake. It just doesn't work. The chemistry isn't there. Like it's like the best way I can describe it is as what's it called? It's like The Big Bang Theory. That show is shit. Like this show is shit. This is the perfect analogy for this show. It's a polished turd. It looks nice, but it's got no substance. It stinks of shit because it is shit. It's just a shit that's nicely polished.
Their nerd powers to create a sun somehow. This isn't really explained, but it is in fact weird as hell. I honestly have so many issues with this show, but one of the things I want to get off my chest is why I find the non-binary thing so grotesque in the context of Malcolm in the Middle and what Malcolm in the Middle originally was. It's established pretty early on that Lois, Malcolm's mom,
I just liked the show because it was fun. That's all I cared about. The show was so fun to watch. It was entertaining. The actors like had a decent ability. You know, like I never liked Lois, but I think Lois was I think she was like the opposite of she was like almost like the enemy of everyone, and that's what made her really good, because you're not supposed to like her, but she nailed the role. She played it really well. And like when I say I don't like Francis, Lois is actually you know, the show could go on without Francis, but without Lois, I think the show wouldn't be as entertaining.
Really wants a daughter. It's also established that she becomes more stern and more of a disciplinarian as a parent the more that she has these out-of-control boys. The writers actually dedicated an entire episode to the concept of Lois fantasizing about what her life would be like if she had daughters instead of sons. Lois is pregnant in this part of the episode, and actually in this part of the season that this episode takes place, and this particular sequence begins with Hal asking
I thought this was really good, like the way they did this, and Hal's like fat because he's always eating, and he's like a how do I put it? He's like a dad that gives into everything because he loves his daughters.
Asking her what gender she actually wants the baby to be, but they're interrupted before she can answer. The rest of the episode, like I said, is her fantasizing that her boys are actually girls, and they spend the day going shopping and doing other cute things together and being feminine and whatnot. In the end, she realizes
they did really well with Hal, like just like making him fat, like changing his personality. It just worked really well.
And this is probably the joke here, that having girls would just be a different kind of chaos, given the way that her fantasy is unable to be maintained as cute and fun, and inevitably the girls devolve into, you know, typical catty girl behavior. Also, side note, right at the end, Francis, the oldest son, shows up dressed up as the girl version of himself in this fantasy. So in case anybody wants to argue that this is doing some sort of serious life commentary, it isn't. He also isn't trans. This is a joke. Anyway, the point is, after all these boys, Lois wants a girl. I don't really blame her. Boys seem to be a lot. At the very end of the whole series, during the final episode of the final season, Lois finds out that she's pregnant once more. Hal screams in surprise. And while we don't find out the sex of the baby in that episode, obviously, we're sort of left to wonder if she finally gets her girl, or if she's just in fact destined for another son. And so I guess the reboot decided to finally give her a daughter. How nice of them. But there's something kind of
That was not a daughter. I don't know what that was. That was like, what was it? Non-binary and not entertaining is more like the gender of that character.
Messed up about finally giving Lois the girl child that she has so wanted all of her life and then immediately taking it away. I want to use stronger language, but we don't swear on this channel, but I think it's really swear words. Many, many swear words. And if you're wondering why this happened, no, this is not some canonized event. This actually has to do with another massive self-insert, but family edition. The show's creator and his wife said in an interview that they were trying to reflect modern American families, given that 3 of their own children are queer out of their 4 kids. So 3 out of the 4. So the 4th...
Dude, that doesn't even make sense. How does that make sense? That doesn't even make sense. Like, the maths is off. It should be the other way around. So, like, I don't know. Something just doesn't. It's the maths isn't right.
4th child is just regular, just a normal person. I think that's quite an accomplishment for them. Also, it kind of goes without saying, but Hollywood people are not normal, so, you know, what they do is not reflective of reality, and I am not certain why.
I agree with that. What they do isn't like it's not like the real world. They live in their bubble.
They think that other people can relate to this. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So, in an effort to modernize Malcolm's family and...
Oh, and Dewey's, the actual actor who played Dewey isn't in it. And Dewey was like one of my top favourite characters in the show. For me, it was, what was it? It was Reese, Dewey and Hal. And I feel like none of them are there. The Hal's acting is, it's meh. Reese, dude, it's not. It's watching Reese is like, it's like you're watching some crackhead version of him trying to be Reese. Reese was like cool and, you know, like he had like a bully type personality, but it's like watching these episodes, it's again, it's like watching what's that, Big Bang Theory. I'm surprised there isn't a laugh track in this, like this word says, catastrophe.
His world. They made his sister transition to a nothing, made his best friend gay, made his other friends a throuple, and made basically everyone else insufferable. Oh, and they also made him a single dad because, yeah, let's really highlight that people don't stay married anymore. Not that he was married to begin with, but you get my point. On the insufferability point, we will come back to that, so just keep that in your little brains. The thing that annoys me so deeply about the inclusion of a nothing gendered person...
Dude, look at Reese, man. Dude, this guy should have bulked up, and do you know what I mean? He should have. This guy should be a gym bro. Do you know? Like, but look, he's the sort. He looks like the sort of person Reese would pick on. Do you know what I mean? Like Reese was like cool. He was like he was dumb, but he had like entertainment value. Like this Reese, I don't like this Reese. They should have like done something with him. Like all he does is like do weekend things with his dad, and it doesn't feel right. Especially him. Look, he's interacting with this new character. No one wants to see that. We want to see the shenanigans with all the brothers put together.
Person is the fact that this would, hands down, have been used as a joke in the original series. It would have been mocked. The writers would have loved to poke fun.
And I hear this comment a lot. So, all right, so this is Jamie, the baby that wasn't really in the show. This is the new one. Mom and Dad. This is Dewey. Fake Dewey. It's not real Dewey. Fake Dewey. These two are the original couple. Frances, I can't remember her name, but the wife, and Reese. Everyone keeps saying, oh, doesn't he, Francis still looks young? No, Francis, I think he had a hair transplant and like all these things done. It's not that he looks young. He's just had work done.
At the very obvious social contagion that this is. And I think...
And the original actor who played Dewey, he played it smart by not being in this show because it was a letdown. What is it? Let's see. What is it? Let's see. Let's do this. This is the IMDb score. Just so you, if anyone's watching, it's got a 6.9. Dude, this does not reflect the show. It's terrible. It's terrible. Look how high it's rated. Most people gave it a 10. They're stupid. All these guys are dumb. Everyone who all of this is the correct people who actually understand criticism, because the show was it felt fake. Now this is for each episode because there's 4 episodes. 7.4, 7.1, 7.1, and then 8. They used like CGI in the last one. They used CGI in this one as well, but the CGI just looked. I didn't like it. I
think honestly they probably would have enjoyed turning it into some sort of commentary on not changing yourself to fit in or be liked, because honestly a lot of Malcolm in the Middle episodes did kind of end with a bit of a moral, like an uplifting kind of idea.
Okay, so speaking about the end, do you remember the beginning of the show? They used to have like these like little skits at the start where something would happen and then the show would start. So it's like almost unrelated to the story, but it's something's happening, like, you know, the dad will come in and he'll like do something, and then he'll give someone money, or Dewey will hit himself, so Reese gets into trouble. Something, but they had like that in this show, but it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining at all.
Idea there, and I am sure that would have been it. But instead, we have Hal awkwardly dancing around the pronoun thing, and everyone else just seemingly accepting this like it isn't a big deal, and even Lois is going along with it, which I feel like she would have hated this.
We're gonna go shopping later. Do them want to come?
Him can't come with we.
What is this garbage? Dude, what's funny is the grammar is all messed up in terms of like it don't make sense. The him can't come with we. Yeah, okay. Alright. Let me just say this. This might work in like the like, let's see, like the West, but in the logical world, this don't make sense. You'd be told to get lost, because it's not what you're taught in, because like grammar is sort of like a maths. It's its own like code, and it don't make sense. Like imagine writing that in your English paper with a teacher who actually understands the language in terms of like its actual grammar. You'd fail. You'd repeat the class. In America, you repeat classes if you can't because I think they have like tests at the end of the year, and if you can't pass, you repeat the year.
Us has homework. Hey, he's trying. Don't mock him for it.
And no, this is not normal. When I tweeted about this as well, I had people showing up to my comments all angry, saying that Malcolm in the Middle originally was really progressive, and I just don't agree with that at all. I don't even know how people arrived at that conclusion. Honestly, I think it was pretty similar to other sitcoms of the early 2000s. It made jokes about everything because writers were still allowed to make jokes then. But just for argument's sake, let's see how Malcolm's dad
you could laugh in the past, but you can't laugh anymore. If you laugh at someone, when I say laugh, I mean like not maliciously, just out of fun, it's deemed like a hate crime, which is a bit ridiculous because you can't use certain words as well now. Oh, you can't say that anymore. No, you can't say that anymore. It's wrong. It's evil. It's just silly, like you know, things that are for gist. I mean, like for fun, is deemed evil, hate crime. In the UK, you'd get arrested if you said something against certain types of people. Do you know what I mean? If you read the Bible, you'd get arrested in a Christian country.
Hal handles one of his children expressing gender confusion.
I agree, Mrs. Wiggins. These pastries are delightful.
Hey, son, what you doing?
I'm having a tea party with Mrs. Bear and the ladies.
Oh, that's good.
Would you care to join us?
Yeah, I have actually Hey, you know what? Why don't we go buy that stealth bomber model you've been asking for, huh?
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is one of the intros where he tricked his dad into getting him a toy he wanted, so he started playing with girls' toys.
Sometimes it's just too easy.
Oh, how disappointing. This does not sound terribly progressive at all, does it? It is apparently established that Hal and Lois would never have accepted this, hence why Dewey, the youngest son, says it's so easy to get what he wants by doing this and manipulating his dad. And I guess this is kind of in line with many of the other things that happen in this show as well. The original did have cross-dressing moments, but they were always jokes, and this thing was always done in the context of jokes. The original show also had one episode in season 6 where Jessica, the kid's babysitter and neighbor, convinced Malcolm and his older brother Reese separately that the other was secretly gay and too afraid to come out. As a result, the brothers suddenly become unusually nice to each other. They each assume that they're being the accepting brother and try really hard to show it without making a big deal out of it. They watch the musical Mamma Mia together with Jessica and the rest of the family and end up awkwardly dancing to the music in their house together. Reese also goes all in on being supportive in his misguided Reese way, including compiling a tape of gay porn for Malcolm. So lucky Malcolm, I guess.
I don't remember that, but that's quite funny.
I'm not gay, you're gay. No, I'm not. You are. I'm not gay. Malcolm, check out what they're doing in that movie and then tell me you're not gay. This is...
Reese was one of my favourites. Like, oh damn, Reese, Hal, Dewey, and dude, it's so disappointing. I feel like we've lost them.
She said.
The boys eventually figure out that they've been pranked and immediately go back to fighting, but during their argument, Reese says that he liked Malcolm better when they were gay, basically.
I liked you better when we were gay.
Me too.
Again, apparently the idiots in my Twitter comments thought that this was some sort of commentary on homosexuality, but again, I don't think that it's that deep. I don't think any of this is that deep. Realistically, this is probably just how men and boys and brothers act towards each other in these kind of situations that happened then and it happens now. And the pair's acceptance of one another might be genuine in the moment, but it comes from manipulation, not any kind of actual identity exploration. The show treats the whole thing as a silly prank that temporarily makes the brothers nicer to each other. And if this revival was anything like actual Malcolm in the Middle, they would have treated the non-binary thing and probably Stevie's gay thing the exact same way. There are obviously moments in the new show that feel kind of like Malcolm in the Middle, the one that I remember, but overall, I have no idea who thought any of this was a good idea or that any of it would actually make sense. Part of what makes the original so good and so funny is that everybody is chaotic, yes, but they all work together as characters.
She makes a good point. But like the show was gritty as well. Not when I say gritty, I mean like it didn't look clean. And I thought that added to it, like the everything sort of looked normal. The house was like it was like dirty. Even like the film grain, there was a see this new one. The colors and everything is like it's crisp. Whereas the old one had it had like real tones to it, like to the real world. All of that is gone. Like the grit is gone.
But I don't know. I sort of feel as if adults doing this is just... It's not so much funny as it is sad. Unironically, this is why I could never...
It's not the adults. It's not... I think for me, it's not... It's just that the script is bad. That's what it is. Like they could have... They all all the progressive junk. They can have all of that. You know, with all the they them and the Stevie being gay, but the story was bad. That's the main problem. Is that the story is bad. If they had they didn't have to have that woman crying. I was falling asleep listening to that, and with the piano music, and they didn't need to have that. They didn't need to have that. You know that, okay, that's it. You know, we all know, because Hal keeps making a mistake. But you know, the script is weak.
Get into the show Shameless. I couldn't do, what is it, like 7 or 8 seasons of people just being giant losers and never getting out of their environment and not even trying to. I had to switch it off because I just thought, I can't mentally handle this. It gave my fatigue. In the original show, Malcolm, as a very smart but neurotic child, works because he's supposed to be a fish out of water. That's sort of the whole thing. He's navigating his adolescence and being a bit of a genius in his family, who he thinks are more or less half-wits. But he also has his siblings, Dewey and Reese, to balance him out, making for a really fun dynamic, because as much as Malcolm is genuinely smarter than them, he still participates in all of their shenanigans and their, wrongdoing and craziness. Reese, on the surface, is painted as a bit of no-hoper, but we still find out that he's really good at things like cooking, for example, or being in the military. And Dewey is actually pretty gifted himself, but routinely gets overlooked. But in the revival, Malcolm's neuroticism is actually just incredibly annoying. It doesn't come across as cute or quirky or likable, but more like a mental patient escapee. His storyline is also incredibly bizarre. He's a single father to an equally neurotic daughter, who he apparently came to have because he impregnated some random girl early on in university.
See, I don't even mind the daughter that he's got, because I think she actually acted well. The daughter did, which is like a plus. But I felt like she just, I don't know. Every character felt like they were all in a bubble. That's what the chemistry was off. Even like when you watch it, you're watching a Zoom call at one point. Right, because they're not all together, and it's frustrating because you're used to watching them do something in the same on the same set, but there's like all these different sets, and it's frustrating to watch when you're watching all these separate little stories rather than I don't know, Reese throwing ketchup on Malcolm or something stupid like that.
And decided to raise her himself while also keeping it a secret from his entire family, which I have no idea how you do that. Reese is still a giant loser who alludes to being divorced multiple times and having a lot of debt. And truthfully, we hardly even see Dewey. We hardly see Jamie, who would have been interesting to explore as an adult, given that we only saw him as a baby and toddler. And as for all of the adults, I don't know, Lois and Hal and Francis, they're more or less the same, except that Lois is suddenly not remotely frugal at all like she was in the original series. And, I get it. You can say that they have more money now because all the boys are out of the house, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like people don't go from being very money conscious to not money conscious, so...
Do you know what? She's got a point. She makes a brilliant point. The personality, part of it still would be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're someone who collects pennies off the floor and you're rich, you would still do that, because I've seen that happen. So it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't like how clean the house is as well. I prefer that, like a grainy house. Look at this. They're not all together. This is a family show. Why are they not all together? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is annoying to watch. They're all separated on a bloody Zoom call. It's terrible. I don't know who these people are.
I don't know. I don't really know what to make of that. It's as if nobody grew at all. And quite frankly, if you don't do any development as a person between childhood and your teenage years and adulthood, that is a serious problem. So the revival just felt a little bit sad, and it felt more like...
Not a little bit. It's pathetic is what it is. It's lame.
An incredibly fractured family that had been forced...
They ruined the show. This new show is like... It's like a fan-made series with money, but without the substance.
Together just because they had to be there. And this is not really super representative, in my opinion, of what this family was in the past at all. Yes, they were dysfunctional and chaotic and all these things, but ultimately, and this kind of happened in most episodes, they would stick together and they would back each other up. In my opinion, if you're gonna do a revival like this, I think something that would do a lot better is having Malcolm not hate his family, not avoid his family, but he's got his own kids that are just as naughty as he and his brothers were when he was growing up, and his family comes over for whatever reason and gets to see that. I feel like that would have been kind of a throwback and a lot of fun, and if it wasn't so full of Disney crap, then it probably would have done really well.
Said it there. Disney crap.
I just hate that Malcolm wants to get away from his family and is so bitter towards them even as an adult. Because, like I said, if you haven't grown at all since your teenage years, that is a big problem. Especially considering at the end of the final episode of the final season, Malcolm gets mad at his mum for expecting so much of him. And she says that she has every faith that he could be president one day, but he will never have an easy ride because that's just not who this family is and that's not who he is. And it will be because of that grit that he becomes something incredible. And when you think about it, it's a really, really nice note to end things on. It's a nice message there that, you know, through adversity you can become great. Although obviously they do it in the funny Malcolm in the Middle.
Dude, they like ruined it. Like, what was it? It was like, oh, I didn't... She says all this and then she's like, oh, I didn't mean it, or something like that. And it's like, it's not the same person. What I think would have been really good, and they actually sort of did this when... Do you remember in Breaking Bad where this would have been really cool. In Breaking Bad, he wakes up and he's in bed. They should have had... This would have worked so well if they did this. They should have had, like, what's his name? Heisenberg as like his like his cousin or something like that, or like a lookalike, and he's broken out of prison or something. Do you know what I mean? If they had like the cast of Breaking Bad interact with the cast of Malcolm in the... Oh my god, that show would have been so good. I think that's... If they did that, dude, that show would have been fun. But Disney, if they had... Dude, if they did that, that would have been so fun. Because, like, Jesse Pinkman and Saul Goodman, dude, those characters would all the characters would fit in so well. Like, Tuco and... I don't know about Gus, but Tuco was, like, really entertaining. Do you know what I mean? Like, all them characters, it would have been so good if they did, like, a crossover like that. That show would have, like, blown everything away. The only thing is Disney puts his finger in too many holes. That's how you make a show. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just go, Tuco, here's $1 million. Jesse, here's $2 million. You know, they pay Bryan Cranston a little bit extra because he's got a green screen himself and put a wig on, and give Saul Goodman money, you know what I mean? Like, if they gave Saul Goodman money, you know, he was... Dude, that... All them characters would... They feel like they would be really good parts of, like, this show. Like, if they, like, had some sort of empire, and, you know what I mean? Like, everything sort of goes wrong, and they use, like, the blue meth as toilet cleaner or something. Do you know what I mean? And, like... dude, that's a show that I would like watch like a few times if it had like the right sort of writing on it.
Say, because I do think it's worth mentioning, that they did try to tie the season 7 season finale into the last episode of the revival, where there's this sort of conversation, this angry conversation that happens between Lois and Malcolm, where he says, you know, you put all this pressure on me, blah 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 blah. But I'm just not sure that it resulted in the sort of feel-good moment that they were hoping for. But I am a Grinch, so maybe that's just how I felt. I have definitely talked at length in other videos about reboots and remakes and how it's frustrating that studios don't make anything new when we're living through this period of endless, just 2000s things being recreated for this young generation.
It's not that they're recreating things. I think it's more like they're ruining things. When they could, they can still make stuff, but the thing is, because of like all this woke nonsense, things just creativity is like it's been given a block. Technology has moved on. I've heard kids say that you know, when they watch old things, it's jerky, and that's because they're used to like 60 frames a second, whereas like an older demographic, we're used to 24 frames a second, and the 24 frames a second people had access to more creative media than people that are watching the new media. All the new films, they look nice, big budget. Guess what? The story's shit. Everything you watch, the story's shit. You know, when I say the story now, everything's all like, oh, there's a twist now. Do you know what I mean? It's all soap opera-y. Oh, there's a twist, and that's the new that's the new thing. Oh, there was a twist at the end, and that's it. It's boring. Like, it's not entertaining or creative. There are creative things and stories and things out there, but they don't get the spotlight that they deserve, because, you know, the man from Disney will come and put his finger in another hole.
But without any of the spark and life that we had.
And I don't think she's being a Grinch. It's just that there's nostalgia, and I hate nostalgia. But the thing is, like, they've ruined the show. That's the thing. Like, to me, nostalgia is nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get like, oh, look, I remember that. No, to me, that it doesn't do anything for me. But it doesn't entertain me when I see someone. You know, I'm more into like, okay, the story was good. That's good enough for me. You know, it's things can be like, something can look off and look cheap. But if the story holds value, you can I can look past it. Not everyone, but I don't mind looking past it. Not always, but like if I've seen a movie that's ugly, if the story's entertaining, I'd watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw District 9, and then I ended up buying it on Blu-ray and DVD after I saw like it as like a terrible version
in those same franchises when we were growing up. And I think with relation to Disney, because this is a Disney production, they do have a tendency, like I described in a couple videos I've made recently, to reanimate the corpses of existing IPs and dance around with their lifeless bodies while the rest of us watch on in horror. And I think that's sort of what happened here. There's obviously a part of me that thinks, maybe this is not that deep, Sid, because it was only 4 episodes and it's not like they made an entire show out of it. But I think I'm so pressed about it because I'm disappointed, because I loved Malcolm in the Middle when I was growing up.
It made me want to watch the old episodes and hate the new ones, and hate like all these. The thing is, it's not like the cast's fault. So I think it's more like Disney and Hulu. I've never seen what's it called? What's that show called? The Last of Us. I've not seen it, but I've seen a lot of people complain about Bella Ramsey. I don't know how to spell the name, but something like that. This person is playing what is it? And people are complaining that yeah, it doesn't match the put the Blast of Us. LAS2. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of people saying, yeah, this ain't the right one. I've seen a lot of memes. I've personally never seen the show or played the game, but I can understand people's frustration because she doesn't have it. I don't know who's hiring this person, but she doesn't have it. She doesn't have, like, looking at her, I don't think she'd be a good actress. Looking at her, I don't think she can fight. Looking at her, I don't think she's got like the looks that you want to look at and go, yeah, she's you know, she can or a farm or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have I don't know, she's got that range. Do you know what I mean? This is on the Hulu show again. Hulu Disney, what made Malcolm in the Middle.
Apparently love it now as an adult because I think it's, you know, quite timeless and quite funny still. And I was actually quite looking forward to this. I just don't know how they fumbled so hard.
I was looking forward to it as well. I was looking forward to it for like months. I was looking at all the little clips and all the little gimmicks and who is it? Frankie Muniz. He was like with Bryan Cranston and I don't know. I should know Lois's name, but I'm sorry. You know, her showing the like the playing the card game. What's my favorite sports team and all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they did like little skits for the show to promote it, and I was getting hyped for it. I was like, they're not going to ruin this. And they ruined it. They ruined it.
I honestly could not tell you when studios are finally going to realize that people do not want reboots, but more importantly, they don't want political messaging. And it's so odd, in my opinion, to include non-binary characters and these trans-adjacent characters in the year of our Lord 2026 because people are tired of it and have completely moved away from all of this. So in the end, I do really wish that this would have been better. I wish that they had taken it down a different path. And I am sorry to say that I just don't think studios have gotten the message quite yet. But, you know, I'm hopeful. Maybe one day. Now on that note,
I don't think that's going to happen unless it's like a... I don't think there are shows that are like entertaining. Like, when I say entertaining, I mean like shows used to be good in terms of, like, let's say, like The Simpsons used to be good, but then that got boring. And when I say boring, it got too much. The movie, I didn't like it that much. It was alright. Same with like Family Guy. It just got too repetitive. Simpsons. It got too. All these are animated shows. I'm thinking of non-animated. If I were to pick the only one I can think of that's still really good is Always Sunny. It has like the odd episode that is like kind of boring or lame occasionally, but it's that show. That's the only show I can think of that like still holds up because of its stupidity is really entertaining. I can't think of any other show that's still sort of like entertaining. That's the only show I can think of that still feels consistently fun. I can't think of any other ones. If there are, there are. If there are, I hope there are some, you know. I think American Dad sometimes has like good episodes. sometimes there's like some really fun episodes, but like I think only It's Always Sunny always is like the only one I can think of right now.
Note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out my brand, Lions Tea Exchange. I pack everything myself. I basically do everything myself, so this is not one of those weird YouTube.
So she puts her fingerprints all over your tea.
Brands that's drop shipped and blah blah blah. Everything goes through little old me, so you know that I'll be putting lots of effort in, and the tea tastes really good, so absolutely check it out. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Were you on my side of this, where you watched it and you thought...
I was on your side, dude. I agree with pretty much most of what you've said. Yeah, I just don't think you mentioned the introductions. That's the only thing I wish you like touched upon, because that was like a part of like the show, and they ruined that as well.
What the hell? What on earth is this? Who made this? Why is this here?
But you made a better video than I ever could have, and yeah, well done to you.
Watch it and like it, and you thought, actually no, this is really cute and it's a nice way of honoring Malcolm in the Middle. Are you somewhere in the middle on this topic where you think, it's probably not that big of a deal, but it's kind of...
I also think everyone who on the IMDb thing who voted for it they're all fooled, because they're watching all the characters again. They're all fooled. That's why you can't believe all of these people. They're fooled by the nostalgia. They're not actually entertained by the story. See, all of these guys, everyone else over here understood the show.
Of annoying that they've done this. What do you think of Lois finally getting her daughter and her being a non-binary person? Do you think that this is the joke and that I'm just missing it and lots of us are missing it? Do you think that it's a deliberate attempt to force progressive ideology onto viewers as per usual? Do you think that none of this is really all that deep and people are just blowing this out of proportion? And what do you think generally, I guess, of the leftism and the progressivism that makes its way into these kind of shows? Is this good? Is this bad? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you'd like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Like I always say, my little chickadees, I hope you stay safe and well and make very good choices, because they are importante, and I will see your wonderful little...
Oh, by the way, what did I say before? Ellen was fired by Disney. I don't know if it was Disney that she was fired by. It might have been a different network, but they're all the same. All these suits, they're all the same. It was because Ellen was gay. But I can't remember who made that show, but I don't know if it was Disney or not. But yeah, I watched your whole thing, Sydney, by the way. Anyway, that's it for that one. Anyway, take care, have fun, and enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is.